just trying to survive and learn to love along the way by Foreplay on AO3. Episode 79, Chapter 79 of Procrastination and Boyfriends. Hitoshi can tell that Izuku's having trouble with his statement. His boyfriend has asked for his company while working, but all he's done so far is pace his room. And they've been at this for 2 hours. Izu, why don't you sit down? You might focus better that way. This isn't the first time Hitoshi had brought this up. This time, though, Izuku does as asked. He sits next to Hitoshi and covers his face with his hands, letting out a deep sigh. I just don't know where to start. Try from the beginning. But I can't, Toshi, because for me, it started when my quirk told me we were in danger, and I can't talk about my quirk with anyone who doesn't already know. Damn, I guess you'll just have to admit everything to do with your quirk. I know, it's just... Izuku cuts himself off with another sigh, and removes his hands. It's just what? My quirk was hurting me, so I missed some of what was happening. They'll need an explanation for that. Have you talked to your dads about this? No. Hitoshi can tell how guilty Izuku feels for that. Izuku, you need to. Your statement is due tomorrow. Hitoshi doesn't mean to sound so impatient, but he's worried about his boyfriend. I know that, Toshi! If his wide eyes are anything to go by, Izuku didn't mean to snap at him. Sorry. He slaps a hand over his mouth and backs away from Hitoshi, tears gathering in his eyes. Shit, Izuku, it's fine. A frantic shake of the head. There's no need to apologize. You did nothing wrong. Izuku peels his hand away from that. I yelled at you. It was my fault, Izuku. I'm the one who got all worked up. Izuku shakes his head again, hands fisted in his shirt. Izuku shuts his eyes against the tears. Hitoshi has to do something. He knows that touching Izuku could be disastrous, but doing nothing could equally be as damaging. So he takes the risk. Izuku freezes the moment Hitoshi's arms wrap around him, but he soon relaxes into his gentle hold. I'm so sorry, Izu. It's fine. Izuku is muffled by his shirt. Hitoshi knows that it's not fine. He could tell how stressed out his boyfriend has been, and yet he's still got impatient with him. Even if Izuku forgives him, Hitoshi will be carrying this for a while. Hitoshi ignores the wet spots in his shirt when Izuku pulls away from the embrace. How about we go talk to your dads? They'll know what to do about your problem. Izuku frowns, but gets off the bed anyways. He heads over to the closet and pulls out the yellow sweater that Hitoshi knows is his favorite, and heads over to the door. You coming? Only if you want me to. Izuku nods at him. So Hitoshi joins him at the door. They ride the elevator to the ground floor, and Izuku leans up against the wall the whole ride. He looks exhausted. His boyfriend gets slower every step they take once they disembark, and while it usually only takes a minute to get over their sensei's room, today it takes 5. Izuku doesn't knock when they get there, just stands in front of the door. So Hitoshi takes the initiative and knocks for him. Aizawa-sensei looks ready for bed when he answers. He's wearing some Prezamite shirt and god-awful hot pink pants. Hitoshi can't meet his eyes. What would his favorite teacher say if he learned that Hitoshi made his son have a breakdown? Nothing good, that's for sure. While he thinks that Aizawa-sensei likes his student, he also thinks that they don't compare to how much their teacher loves his son. Boys, what's going on? Nothing. Hitoshi looks over and finds Izuku's also refusing to meet their teacher's gaze. That doesn't look like nothing. Why don't you come inside? It's not a suggestion. Hitoshi finds himself squashed next to Izuku on their comfy couch as the cats fight for space on his boyfriend's lap. Mike-sensei joins them, and his sleep clothes are much more sensible than his husband's. Izu, baby, what's going on? Izuku doesn't answer, so their teachers turn to him. He needs help writing a statement. I thought you were already done, problem child. I was, but it wasn't good enough, and I can't talk about my quirk. Izuku's reply is quiet. Hitoshi can hardly hear him over the purring of the cats, and he's sitting right next to him. That's okay, Izuku. We could work on it together. Aizawa-sensei sounds extra calm tonight. You can probably tell how anxious Izuku is. Can you show me what you've done so far? His teacher speaks up when nobody else talks. No, I... Izuku clicks his mouth shut and shakes his hands. Hey, it's fine, Izuku. No. Their teacher is in front of them, in a flash. Hey, Izuku, you're fine, just breathe. You can talk with your hands, remember? That's okay. Hitoshi feels like an intruder here. He shouldn't see his teachers being so gentle and soothing. I threw it out. Izuku's hands are shaky, but he seems more at ease using them. That's okay, baby. We can just restart. President Mike speaks up from behind them on the couch, and Hitoshi nearly jumps out of his skin. Can Purple Cat stay? Of course he can. Hitoshi can feel his teacher's eyes on him, so he finally meets them. They don't seem accusatory, even though it's obvious that Hitoshi helped put Izuku in that state. Right now, Aizawa-sensei looks nothing more than a concerned, caring father. Hitoshi knows that he'd be interrogated about this at a later date. Eijirou wakes up in a cold sweat. He launches over his desk, and the ache in his neck tells him he's been there for a while. He sits up painfully and winces when he sees the time. 3 a.m. Eijirou looks back down at his desk and can't help but wince a little. He only has 4 sentences of a statement written, and they're all terrible. Katsuki had offered to help him a few days ago, but Eijirou thought this was something he should do by himself. He realized his mistake too late. Now the lawyer is coming back in 5 hours to grab everyone's statements, and everyone who can help him out is probably fast asleep. He knows he put this off for too long, but is it really necessary? Eijirou can't even remember half of what happened at the exam. He was far too panicky to pay attention, let alone restrain anything. Him being at trial would be a waste of time. Still, he has to finish this. Maybe Katsuki will help him if he promised to buy him bread from that bakery he really liked once the lockdown is over, or on their way back from the courthouse. For being on lockdown, they sure end up leaving the school a lot. Eijirou exits his room quickly, but not even bothering to grab his horrible first attempt. He knocks on Katsuki's door instead of just barging in considerate of times. Katsuki looks furious when he opens the door, a little less so when he sees that it's Eijirou, but he still looks pissed. He drags Eijirou into his room and turns on the light before he starts interrogating him. At least Eijirou assumes that's what it is, since he, of course, forgot his hearing aids in his room. Sorry, forgot my hearing aids. Be right back. Eijirou turns to exit the room, but a hand wraps around his wrists, stops him. Katsuki turns him back around and lets go. The look on his face tells him not to move. It's fine, Red. What's going on? Will you help me with my statement? Holy shit, that's due today, stupid. He mouths something that looks an awful lot like fucking dumbass, and Eijirou feels a little guilty for interrupting his sleep. I know, I'm sorry. Shut up. Eijirou drops his hands and looks away. Of course Katsuki is pissed. He woke him up at 3 a.m. in the morning for something that should have been finished days ago. Sorry to bother you. I'll finish it on my own. Eijirou signs without looking his way, but he's once again stopped from leaving when Katsuki grabs onto him. Don't be dumb. You need my help. Well, yeah, but... Katsuki grabs his hands, stopping him mid-sentence. He drags him over to the desk and sits him down, before pulling out a fresh piece of paper. He taps the table with the end of the pencil to get his attention, and sighs once again once he has it. Let's take this from the top. Take your time, Red. As I said before, traumatizing. See, they're having difficulties even doing this, and even writing a statement. A motherfucking statement. Why? Because they're re-traumatizing themselves. They have to relive the memory. For the most part, think about it. When a traumatic event happens, what do you think? Yeah, sure, for a bit, once it happens and a couple days after it happens, you think about it constantly, right? And then there's some people who never stop thinking about it, and it consumes their every waking thought, right? But then you have those people who stop thinking about it, right? At least consciously going back to it. And when they start thinking about it, they start getting distractions. They start doing stuff to distract themselves, right? That's how coping mechanisms are formed, right? People trying to distract themselves from their traumas and from their horrible experiences that they went through, right? People don't want to remember, right? People don't actively try to remember sometimes, right? And in the case of these people, yeah, no wonder they don't want to actively remember what happened. They don't even want to acknowledge it. They don't even want to think about it. They want to move on, right? And this trial is not going to let them move on. As I said, criminal trials, not charges. Criminal trials can be hard on the victims, right? Whether the victim be someone who was R-worded, someone who was violently assaulted during a mugging, whether it be someone who was, almost got murdered, like an attempted murder. Like, whatever it is, people are always going to be traumatized because of this, right? And unfortunately, this is just going to re-traumatize them. And I hate the fact that it's going to re-traumatize them. And the Hero Commission isn't even on their side. They're not on their side. They want to pull this under the rug. They want to forget it even happened. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that one of their own is the reason why this happened. That this hero, quote-unquote hero, right, is to blame for all of this. That this person that they entrusted with the public is to blame, because then they have to admit to themselves that they picked the wrong person to be a hero. They allowed the wrong person to become a hero, let alone, I think at this point in time, it's the number 1 hero or the number 2 hero. I think it's the number 2 hero. Let alone the number 2 motherfucking hero, right? Like, they have to admit the fact that, oh shit, we were wrong. We chose wrong. Do you really think they're going to admit that? No, they're not. They're going to hide it under the rug, right? They almost did, because if it wasn't a public trial, guess what would have happened? Guess who they would have sided with? Now, because it's a public trial, they can't just rig the trial, right? They can't. They actually can't. Because the public will be aware of it, right? I think that's like the biggest thing that that they have going for them. The fact that it's a public trial. So the public is going to be able to see this, right? Which is, again, another big re-traumatizing thing. Because not only do you have to, open up your wounds to a room of just random people that you don't know, with a couple people that you know, and then Endeavor, the person who almost killed you and traumatized you, or the person that was your abuser for Todoroki's sake and Touya's sake. But also you have to think about the fact that this is a public trial. Everyone will know, right? Now, for Kirishima or Izuku, it might not be the biggest thing, but for Touya, for Shoto, that is huge. All their dirty laundry is going to be out there in the wild, right? Out there, just available for anyone and everyone to see. And the sad thing is, if they don't do this, they might lose the trial. They have to sacrifice that little bit of privacy. I've been wanting to say privacy ever since I started watching Bridgerton. That small privacy that they have, that they're owed, right? They're gonna sacrifice that to put Endeavor, to make sure Endeavor doesn't get away with this. And it's sad that they have to sacrifice and give up yet another thing. It's just, it's horrid. It's horrible, and it pisses me off. If you guys did not know and did not realize yet, it pisses me off. Now, onto Hitoshi calling Izuku boyfriend in his mind the whole time. Hello. Have you guys, talked about that? Have you guys set up the fact that you're boyfriends? Off stage? Off camera boyfriend minding? Off camera boyfriend minding. Oh my god. Have you guys set that up beforehand? Or, because if so, cool. I love that. Unless it's one of those situations where, you guys just haven't talked about it and haven't, outright spoken it, and it's not, outright explicit the fact that you guys are dating. If so, not as cool, not as, interesting and, cute, not as cool. Not as cool. Not at all. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm crocheting as I'm doing this. So in my head, as I'm telling you guys this, I am thinking in my mind numbers and shit. So yeah. Don't mind me. I'm thinking I'm doing numbers, I'm doing coordination because a lot of crocheting is math, and I hate that. And it's not like basic, it's not like complicated math. It's just, simple addition, minus, like, okay, 3 plus 3, like, if I do this, how much is it divided, meaning I have to do lines of this and this, whatever. It's basic adding and division and multiplication. So it's simple basic math, but it's still math, and a lot of the times I have to do it in my head, and it is exhausting. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.